Hello, this is News Desk. I am Amisi Nyamiche Thompson. Coming up this hour, Parliament extends 13 days to tackle key government business, including the media budget review and demonopolizing Ghana's law school ahead of its July recess. We have details from Parliament. Also, Central East Regional Police Command arrests one person in connection to a robbery at Dabeyin near Goma Budu Ata in the Central Region. Details as 4 others are currently at large. And also brace yourself for colder days as Acheampong phenomenon sets in. We hear from the Ghana Meteorological Agency on our desk. And we'll also engage at the Bryan Acheampong camp as it gets ready for the opposition New Patriotic Party's flagbearer elections. You do want to stay for that conversation. Plus, we have some business updates as well. Do stay for details. We'll be right back. And let's get into the details now. Parliament is ramping up its schedule to 6 sittings a week as it races against time to address critical national issues before its July recess. High on the agenda is to clear key legislative business, including the media budget review. And Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante joins me with more on this. Kweku, so what are the key bills that the House will be considering before recess?
So, Mamesi, the major decision that has been taken by the leadership of the House, particularly the majority leader, on the business committees to ensure that, like you said, the key businesses that must be transacted are transacted before the House proceeds on break at the end of July. There are a number of legislative instruments that have been laid before the House, which must mature into law before the House goes on break at the end of July. And you know, the law mandates that for legislative instruments to mature into law, they must take 21 sitting days before they can become law. They've been sitting for quite some time now before they were laid. And the 21 days will be at risk if Parliament does not sit on Mondays and on Saturdays to be able to get the maximum 21 sitting days that are required for these LIs to become law. So that is the major one that is there. When it comes to bill, there is also the matter of the legal education reform bill, which has been pushed by the majority chief whip and others, who is expected to be laid any moment from now in Parliament. And that is expected to break the monopoly of the Ghana School of Law. As we know now, any person that does the LLB from the accredited university faculties are expected to take an entrance exam and go to the professional law school, the Ghana Law School, for 2 years before they can be called to the Ghana Bar. There are those who have said that this is the monopoly that must be broken. It appears the government has listened to that, and in the NDC manifesto, they did make plans for that and are preparing to lay the legal reform bill, which will ensure that the accredited law faculties run the professional law program, and then the persons who complete from these programs will then sit for the general bar exam before they are called to the bar. That is there. There are a number of other bills like the Fisheries Act and other amendments that must be dealt with, all of that on the table of Parliament, and they have to do that before they go on break at the end of July. The July break is usually very long. When they go on break at the end of July, they will come back at the end of October. That is almost 3 months on break. And so all of these key businesses will have to be dealt with before the House proceeds on break. Then there is also the matter of the media budget review that the Finance Minister will present. As per the Public Financial Management Act, that business must be transacted before the end of July. When the Finance Minister presents the media budget review, sometimes they may ask for money. They may ask for further appropriation. They may ask for certain key changes in the budget that was presented the previous year. And where those ones require parliamentary approval, they will be referred to the parliamentary committees for them to consider and put them before the House. All of this takes a lot of time. And that is why the leadership of the House have decided that from today up until the end of the meeting, which will be at the end of July, they are going to sit Monday to Saturday. That is 6 days in a week. You'll get 1 day off on Sunday, return on Monday, and do a lot of work, Mamisi.
Well, Kweko, it's going to be long nights, long working days in Parliament. And I'm assuming, there are some concerns being raised by members of Parliament who will be going through these processes, the workload. How are they reacting to this?
Definitely. On Friday, when this big announcement was made through the business statement of the House, a number of MPs did raise concerns. We know that a lot of MPs are aged persons, and a lot of these timing issues must be looked at. For instance, in the last 5-6 weeks, Parliament has been sitting between 2 p.m. and sometimes late into the night, sometimes I guess into midnight before the agenda because of the backlog of business that they have to transact. As a number of MPs have been raising concerns about that, the leadership are assuring that they are going to put in place measures to ensure that MPs are not overworked. And that would mean that if you are going to sit for 6 days, they're going to prioritize the key business. They must come as early as possible. And that is why members of Parliament have said that Parliament has been sitting since the start of June. If there were any business, the leadership should have brought the business to be done so that you don't require MPs to sit between Monday and Saturday. There are also MPs who are raising concerns about constituency time, where MPs have to go back to their constituencies on the weekend and then return on Monday for Parliament business to start on Tuesday. This new arrangement will mean that MPs lose out on that and perhaps get only Sunday to go to their constituents, especially for those whose constituencies are very far from Accra. That is a big challenge for them, and they've been raising concerns about that. But the leadership have convinced them that, listen, this is just going to be about 3-4 weeks, and then Parliament will go on break. You can have enough time to go back to your constituency and do what you have to do there. So concerns have been raised, but this has been rammed through, and Parliament, this wasn't much open to a debate or a discussion because a decision was taken at the business committee. The majority leader did intimate that the Speaker of Parliament had actually approved that order of business, and that is why they are about to do that. And starting from today, Parliament is going to sit 6 days every week until they go on break at the end of July.
Well, Koko, how about you? How are you also preparing for the long days in Parliament?
Well, the conversation around journalists is usually that members of Parliament, the leadership, when they take these decisions, they don't factor in journalists who are covering. Obviously, we do our work, not for Parliament, we do our work for our various media houses. And so whatever arrangement that is there, we do that with our various media houses. But as always, these are things that we expect. We are well prepared to be able to go through this, to be able to report on the key issues that are happening on the floor of Parliament and outside of it to the Ghanaian public. And so long as members of Parliament are on the floor transacting business, we will also continue to be there.
Well, we'll definitely get those updates from you. And that's Kwekwa Santia, our parliamentary correspondent, giving us the very update from a Parliament. They're going to be sitting, throughout the week to ensure that critical bills are worked on. Now, moving on, police in the central region have arrested one person in connection to robbery incidents that occurred at Dabayin near Gomwa Buduata Junction along the Kaswa Winneba Road in the central region yesterday. A statement by the Central East Regional Police Command reads that the command has arrested a suspect in connection with the incident that occurred in the early hours of yesterday, Sunday, 6 July 2025, at Dabayin near Gomwa Buduata Junction along the Kaswa Winneba Road. And then they also informing us that preliminary investigations indicate that about 12:30 a.m. the arrested suspect Mohammed Bello and 4 accomplices who are currently at large robbed drivers and passengers of their personal belongings. Some items stolen included mobile phones and an unspecified amount of money. And through swift and vigilant police action, the suspect Mohammed Bello was arrested in the vicinity while trying to escape. A search conducted on him led to the retrieval of cash amounting to 3,740 Ghana cedis, 2 Samsung smartphones, 1 Tecno Spark 20, an Intel keypad phone, an Intel power bank, a lady's purse, 5 sticks of cigarettes, a wristwatch, a headset, mobile phone charger as well, as well as a pair of sandals, which has been identified by one of the victims. So he's currently in police custody, assisting with investigation, while intelligence-led operations are underway to arrest the remaining members of the gang and bring them to justice. Well, let's get more on this from our correspondent, Abigail Asel in Kuma. Abigail, what's the latest from the area that you can report?
Right, Mami, just as you read, the police released a statement on the robbery that occurred yesterday in the early hours of Sunday, where 5 armed men attacked some cars on the road, robbing passengers and drivers of their personal belongings. We know that a suspect has been arrested, Mohammed Bello. He was arrested, but 4 of his accomplices are now at large, and the police is working extra hours to ensure that these 4 people will also be brought to face the law. We know 4 people were injured. Received various degrees of gunshot wounds, and currently receiving treatment at the hospital. I tried to reach out to the PRO of the Central East Regional Police Command, and he says investigations are still ongoing, so they can't really give a lot of information. But they are assuring us that they will be providing a comprehensive update after the investigation. So 4 people are at large, and the police is working extra hours to ensure they are all brought to face the law. The victims of this robbery are particularly grateful, especially for the swift response of the police in arresting one of them, and they know that the police will be working hard to arrest the rest. The police are also urging the public, especially those who were victims of this robbery, to come out and help with the investigation so that all these 5 persons can be arrested and be brought to book.
Well, I hope nobody was injured or killed in the operation.
No one was killed per the police statement released, but we know that 4 persons sustained various degrees of gunshot wounds and are receiving treatment at the hospital, but no one has been reported dead.
Thankfully. Thank you very much, Abigail Issa, for that update. Well, away from that, brace yourself for colder days because the aphelion phenomenon has started. This refers to the point in Earth's orbit where it is the farthest from the sun and occurs annually in early July. Well, let's engage Joshua Asamoah. He's a senior forecaster at the Ghana Meteorological Agency. We're grateful for your time on our desk this morning, Mr. Asamoah. Kindly unmute and speak to us, Mr. Asamoah.
Yes, thanks for having me. Yes, and good morning.
Good morning. So explain to us really what this phenomenon means.
All right, so just like you explained, this is the time of the year when the sun is farther away from the earth.
Okay.
And what happens is that the sun is the basic driver of all the weather conditions that we get across the globe. And so areas where you have the sun, that is the areas you expect a lot of convection to happen, a lot of cloud formation, and a lot of rainfall in these areas. And when you are getting the sun farther away from you, it means that technically you are getting some higher pressure build up in that area. They suppress more of the activities. What you see most of the time is that higher pressures build over the ocean, and we get lower pressures very far inland around Northern Africa, the area thereabout. And so winds move from the ocean to feed that low pressures in the northern portions of Africa. So we get a lot of cloud cover around that time. And so if you've realized, you see that July, August, and early part of September, there's a lot of cloud cover for most places in the country. Because of that, we get the sun's rays blocked from getting to the surface of the earth. And so temperatures tend to be naturally cool around that time. That's what makes the month of August the coolest month in the year. So that's what we are seeing. It's not something that is extraordinary. It's not going to cause any devastating effect. Just that for people who are sensitive to cold weather, they will have some bit of unsettlement, and so they would have to adapt to the conditions that would be experienced around this time.
Are we expecting more rains within this season?
Yes, we still expect some rains, but like I said earlier, because this kind of condition brings a lot of higher pressures for us, especially in the southern parts of Ghana. Around this time into August, we call it the little dry season. So it's not the dry season itself, but then it does not give us a lot of rainfall. The kind of rainfall we'll see from now till the end of August will mainly be the drizzle kind or the slight rain intermittently. You don't expect most of the more of the heavy rainfall, the convective rain around this time. Areas where we expect more rains to be seen now will be the northern portions of Ghana. So the upper east, northeast, there are 5 northern regions and part of the transition zone. That's where we'll still see the thunderstorms, the lightning flashes, and all of that. But for us in southern Ghana, the kind of range that we'll be seeing now will be the slight rain, the drizzle, more cloud cover, more cool temperatures, but less amount of rainfall around this time.
At least that's good news for the northern part of the country, since they've been complaining a while now about reduced rainfall. But thank you very much, Joshua Samwa, senior forecaster with the Ghana Meteorological Agency. Well, back here in the studio, let's shift our attention to the opposition New Patriotic Party's flagbearer elections. The race is getting keener, with all camps reaching out to all who matter in a bid to get the nod. Today we engage Dr. Dixon Adomako Kisi. He speaks for Bryan Acheampong's camp, and he's here with me in the studio. I'm very sure we're going to have an interesting conversation about Bryan Acheampong. You're welcome, Doctor.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, nice to have you here as well. But let's start off. You've been in Parliament before, and there's this situation about, and them sitting through the week from Monday to Saturday to get work done. In such a situation, how does it go? How does the operations, go for you?
Well, the beauty of parliamentary work is that a lot more work is even done behind the scenes. And I think that you need to make time to go through the documents. And what I mean by that is the various bills. And fortunately, many of them are in different committees. So you tend to focus on whichever committee you're on and its bill. So for instance, if you're within the Environment, Science and Tech, then you'd focus on the bill related to them. If you are within the Finance Committee, then you'd focus on the bill related. So I think when all is said and done, if you're on maybe 2 committees, your focus will be on that. And then the other parliamentarians will be also working on those. So invariably, you can, as it is, buy some time and go and stretch your legs whilst they are working on another committee's bill.
Okay.
So it's doable. And as it stands...
How about the stress? Because I'm just speaking to a parliamentary correspondent, you have to go through long days of workload, the pressure and all that. How do you manage that stress?
Admittedly, your health is very important. And I think that, unfortunately, we went through those moments, and not to remind Ghanaians, I remember losing the Kumewu MP after a stressful evening. And in fact, in hindsight, I think that it may have contributed to our loss of the former MP from Kumewu. But certainly, I would encourage members, health first. Fortunately, there's a clinic there. Do well to go check your blood pressures. If you are diabetic, to make sure that your sugars are within good range. If you go hypo, then you are in trouble. You may collapse. So these are the few things.
But just before we go into the main conversation, just want to know from you, is it really advisable to, embark on such a marathon, kind of work shift for MPs? They go through a lot to, the processes, the work that they have to do. And then you push so much work, get into the end or get into recess. Is it something that should be encouraged?
I would rather we do it piecemeal. But sometimes other reviews of the drafts leads to this challenge where many are left at the back burner until the very last bit. So I would rather, we would all wish that was not the case. However, as it stands, some people enjoy last-minute work, and as the wheels of government grind slowly, so is Parliament. Certain things are left for last minute, unfortunately. Well,
thanks for that insight. Well, let's come to the main conversation, which is Bryan Acheampong. Very keen competition between some, candidates who've shown their faces, not candidates yet because they've not even, gone into the main race yet. But we know about former Vice President Dr. Bawumia. We know about Mr. Bryan Acheampong, as well as this third candidate whose name keeps escaping me. I don't know why. Kennedy, Acheampong have all come up. But you are speaking with the Bryan Acheampong camp.
Correct.
What will make Bryan Acheampong be set apart, thinking that he can lead the NPP in 2028?
Well, admittedly, the character of NPP clearly needs some change to appeal to a broader, wider, bigger number for people to turn up to vote for us in 2028. And we believe that Bryan Acheampong offers the party that new look, that new deal, and a departure from many of the favorable stands we took, which were not, very good in terms of how Ghanaians looked at the party. And I think that he brings a lot of solutions to the table, and largely, if we were thinking out loud, he has a wealth of party experience. He also has a wealth of political experience by virtue of his, working to get to Parliament and then also being in Parliament. And he's actually in his 4th term at the moment, and that adds to his rich experience as a politician. So we can look at him as a career politician, plus also, as we all know, a very astute businessman. And I think that those two things makes him very apt. And let me add that his expeditions in technology has been very fruitful. A lot of people have known him for just Rock City. But let me put across that when I worked as the vice chairman for Communications Committee, that was when I appreciated his depth of knowledge in terms of computers and in terms of cybersecurity and all of that. And for me, that was an eye-opener when I engaged him during my time as a communication committee member. And many Ghanaians are not aware of this. So his knack for technology and the fact that his companies in technology have advanced Ghana's transformation, especially in the banking sector and in terms of IT solutions. I think that he's fit for purpose, and the world is changing, and you need somebody who's a solutions person more so than somebody who's trying to do solutions. And I think that if we'll look at it, we're at a crossroads, and instead of a destructive path that we are on, we need somebody who will be calm in composure, and as it is, marry the two tough factions within the party, so that we can work our way to victory, and not just focus on the party, but somebody who can be appealing to the entire country. And I think that is very crucial. To borrow the words from Otumfuo, who said that as we go to the elections, we better not just focus on somebody who's good for NPP alone, but a character, a person who will be appealing to the broader, country. And I think that Dr. Bryan Acheampong, has all that it takes in terms of his youthfulness. And some have questioned, and I tell them that, listen, when Obama was leaving presidency, he was, not 52 years. It just so happens that in our part of the world, when you're young, you may not have achieved as much as Dr. Bryan Acheampong has already. And for that matter, looking at the work at hand and the time involved, I think that it's about time that we the young ones, this is our candidate. And I think that he'll have the time and also give a listening ear to the youth. And the youth voice matters now in this.
Well, that brings me to this question. I mean, there was this explorative committee set up to, find out whether really he has to enter into this race. What were the reactions you were getting from your grassroots, especially the youth you just mentioned? Specifically, what is attracting them to Bryan Acheampong, that they are convinced that he should take up this role?
Well, one of the feedback was that we needed to change the character of the party. In fact, and then be very, as it is, agreeable with the youth in terms of some of the stance we took. I mean, listen, let me cite, for instance, one of the unfavorable things that we were doing in terms of taxes related to betting. Okay, no party that was really youthful would have agreed to, this. Granted, there are many approaches to doing this. So we literally took unfavorable positions that alienated the youth from our party. And I think that, Bryan Acheampong understands the youth. He is youthful compared to the other competitors. And I really also think that he's very much in touch, just like most of us are more in touch with, what time it is than some of our other candidates. And I also think that he will be a departure from all the things that people did not like about our party, in the sense that at some point in time, the party hierarchy was not listening to the ordinary people. And I think that somebody who will be for the ordinary people and very focused on helping Ghana move forward. I mean, times really have changed. And a lot of us now spend our time on TikTok. A lot of us spend our time on social media. And for that matter, our messaging needs to change. Our appeal to the youth needs to change. And I think there's no other better person. Now, let me also add that one thing that appeals to me is the fact that he has serious knowledge. This is a candidate that has a 4 master's degree. His PhD is into information systems. The second one he's doing is into cybersecurity. And I think if you add all of this, it makes him a whole. And that means that, as the world advances in technology, we have a candidate who is very much vested and knowledgeable in terms of the digital economy. And I must admit that was one of the key points of our campaign last year, that will improve on the digital economy in this country. And who better than the person who that is his
his baby.
His baby, and has proven track record. Okay. And I think that makes the difference.
Okay.
My good old book says that when you're looking for carpentry-related work, you hire a carpenter. When you're looking for electrical, you hire an electrician. In this case, he has a strong track record of politics. He was the chief of staff for Jacob Ichebe-Lamte. So his knowledge about the nuances, the intricacies of running the party is there. And then on top of that, he lost a few attempts at Suhum. So the failures of, or the challenges within politics, and let me appeal to a lot of people that demographics played a role in his Suhum, bid, where it was not favorable. And I think that in totality, moving into the next election, one of the most critical things is that we need to present a candidate with fewer baggages, so that going uphill will be less of a struggle.
Fewer baggages, what do you mean by that?
We want a candidate, okay, who, one, can appease to many of the groupings that make us whole. Let me say on this, esteemed show of yours that it so happens that the strong NPPs will vote NPP. The strong NDCs would do it for NDC, regardless of who the candidates are. There's about 1,500,000 people who swing in this country. And as we move forward, we need to be very deliberate and working towards a candidate who can, as it is, dip into those groupings and bring them, to your end.
Well,
and I think that in 2028, die-hard NPP will do NPP, die-hard NDC will do. And it is those people who are in the middle that as we work towards the election, we need to provide a candidate who would appeal to that core group so that we can get our 50 plus and win the election. If not, if we just focus on just what is good for NPP, we stand to have a major problem. And I am here to tell Ghanaians that, listen, we're bringing the New Deal. Dr. Bryan Acheampong has it. He has experience, and he's presidential material.
Well, let me come in here. I mean, on the foundation that you've laid, Bryan Acheampong also comes with controversy. At least in 2024, during the campaigning era, 2023 as well, he's known to be one who has been vociferous, made controversial comments about handing over power, that the NPP will not hand over power if they should, lose their election. On August 10, let me land and then you can respond. On August 10 in the Eastern region, also in Acheampong, okay. Then also during the NPP Unity Walk at Price in 2023, and his comments were not received well. He was condemned for it. People have viewed him as somebody who doesn't really share in the democratic ideals of a country, like Ghana. Others to think that he's too wild, that if he should win, if he should lose this NPP flag bearership race, should he become a candidate? Maybe, by his own words, he may not even hand over to whoever won. Do you think so?
So just by way of clarification, sometimes translating local lingua into English can be a bit of a challenge. But let me add that
really, we all heard what he said.
He's actually not been happy about how it came out. Let me admit that. He's not been happy. But I think that in totality, what he was saying is that, and if you listen to the entire script, he said that as the economy gets better and things turn around, the NPP will win the election. And when we win, we will not hand over power. And I think that is a whole different narrative. And let's admit, media folks like, headlines, and until you go behind the headlines. And I think that, unfortunately...
Dr. wait, let me come in.
This was splashed everywhere.
Are you saying that Bryan is saying he didn't say exactly those words?
No, I'm saying that if you listen to the entire script, what Bryan communicated was that the economy will turn around, things will do better, and the NPP will win the election and not hand over power. And I think that,
wait, let me read the quote here. It says, if the NDC dares me, this is a translation or transliteration of what he said. If the NDC dares to use threats, violence and foolishness in the 2024 elections, we will let them know we have the men. He threatened, stressing, we will show them that we have the men, and further stated that it will never happen that we, the NPP, will stand on this platform to hand over power to the NDC.
Well, as we all know, December 7th, we lost, and we handed over power. Let me just be...
And I'm just saying that for him, who is now looking to be flag bearer and maybe potentially becoming the president of the country, can we trust such a man who makes such comments to lead the country?
To be fair to him, I've already said that he was not happy about how it came out. He has admitted. And beyond that, I think that if you look at the entire narrative that day, his oration was that things will turn around and people will win elections. And when we win, we'll not hand over power. But, it can be looked at in varying ways. He is not happy how it was taken. He's not happy how it came out. And you can easily say that was a media gaffe. These things happen.
Can we also easily say
that? And I think that he was also using that to, as it is, motivate the youth to work hard for us to win.
Really? With these words?
Unfortunately,
could we also say that
win.
He's coming across as he's genuinely repented, but if he gets the power, we'll see a different version of him?
Oh no, I think admittedly, this is somebody who's been in Parliament for 4 terms. We know his character. Let me add that when he lost, so many attempts in Suhum. When the party said he should sit down, he sat down. And you know, many do not know this. President Kufuor then called him and patted him on the back for, as it is, accepting, you know, that the party allow, at that time, Opare Ansah to continue. And let me add that, you know, that was one showmanship of somebody who, you know, allowed and agreed to a loss. You know, so if we would question words, let's look at action. His action he took in Suhum after 5 trials, you know, shows that, you know, he agreed and allowed Opare Ansah to go. So if you really want to compare, measure a man by his actions. And by his actions, we can look at the Suhum narrative.
Did he apologize for those comments he made?
Oh, he came out, I think, a couple of days after that to say that he regrets how it came out. He did. And he further really explained in totality, as I'm saying here, that when NPP turns the economy around, we will win the election, and when we win, we'll not hand over power. And that can be misconstrued. I mean, that is, you know, for the public domain. But we should look in totality. Like I've just, you know, drawn your attention to the fact that this is somebody who agreed at Suhum when they had gone 5 rounds to allow Opare Ansah to take over. So in character, and as they always say, measure a man by his actions.
Yeah.
By his actions, he will not be as vociferous as you.
I haven't seen anywhere.
And he's a very fine gentleman. I think, you know, along the line.
I don't know him personally,
That's what
but
I'm saying,
I would want to believe so. But I
along
haven't
the
seen
line.
anywhere that he apologized for those comments.
Oh,
but
he came out to further explain. And
did he apologize? Is the word
in our most recent, you know, meetings with him? I mean, he admits that, you know, he is so unhappy.
I'm talking about a public apology. Did we hear anything of the sort?
I don't have all the media assets, but I'll look for it because I remember that.
Well, we haven't seen.
I remember. Oh, I'm sure. I mean, you know, what's interesting about Ghana? Good news doesn't trend.
Are you serious?
Good news.
This
when,
was a controversial statement. I'm sure if he had apologized, we would have known.
When
certainly.
When things happen,
we haven't heard him
the headlines will
Dr.
capture
Kisi.
the controversial
We
ones.
haven't heard him apologize.
Because let me share with you an experience, okay?
Very briefly, though.
Whilst
we
I
don't
was
have
with,
time.
Oh, too bad.
Very briefly. Very.
Yeah. Whilst I was with public accounts, you know, they'll make a big noise about the monies and quantums that Ghana has lost. We go through the committee work, and it drops drastically. And that one, no media house captures it. And this is the nature of Ghana's social media landscape and the media landscape. The good things, hardly do we make noise about.
Dr. Adumako Kisi, thank you so much for being here in our studios. We're privileged to have you here.
Thank you, Isi.
All right. And that's Dr. Dixon Adumako Kisi, spokesperson for the Bryan Acheampong camp, bringing us to the end of the first segment of the show. We'll take a break. We'll return with business. Welcome back to Johnny's Desk with me, Mamisi Nyamiche Thompson. Right about now, we do business with Dara Kwa.
Well, coming up in business, board chair of Cocoa Board, Dr. Samuel Ofusampos, has warned the country's economy will struggle if the country is unable to maintain premium quality of its cocoa. He says government is committed to protecting Ghana's premium status at all costs through investing in quality assurance, global compliance, and operational upgrades. This comes as workers at the Cocoa Board complex in Tema highlighted numerous operational challenges during a working visit by the board of directors. Kwame Yanka has more.
The cocoa sector remains an important pillar of Ghana's economy. The cocoa industry, long hailed for its premium quality, is facing a complex mix of global demands and local operational hurdles. At the heart of it all, the research department of Quality Control Company is leading a quiet but critical fight monitoring pesticide levels, heavy metals, and emerging threats like mycotoxins to keep Ghana's cocoa safe and export ready. But that task is strained by aging lab equipment, space constraints, and a dire need for modern tools to meet international food safety standards. Here is the research manager for quality control company, Raphael Avemega.
In that respect, we need state-of-the-art equipment. Indeed, through management support, we used to have two. We call them HPLC and GCMS. Currently, we have HPLC, LCMS, MS. That is the highest spec in its category, and it is used to analyze specific group of pesticide residues. That equipment, very critical. It's not the only one that can be used because there are other pesticides which cannot be identified by that equipment. They are identified by the other group, which we call GCMS, MS. Currently, we are lucky to have HPLC, MS. The GCMS we have is obsolete.
At the warehouse level, Cocoa Marketing Company reports of record shipping, but leaking roofs and rickety vehicles to insufficient security systems threaten product quality. Meanwhile, board chair of Cocoa Board, Dr. Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, who is alarmed by these challenges, assured the workers of steps being taken to address these concerns.
If we do not pay attention to quality, and then the slightest challenge comes in, we can pay a very heavy price for that. So the fact that after now, Ghana hasn't met any of these challenges shows that you are doing your work very well and you need to recommend it. But as indicated, you need more state-of-the-art equipment to ensure that you are ahead of the situation. And that's exactly what we want to do. Our board will want to be a very proactive board. We wouldn't like to be reactive. And so once we discuss this thing with you, we sit down, analyze the situation, and get the necessary technical advice from management to be able to pursue these objectives.
The Tema tour ended at the Cocoa Village at Community 2, where the board chair and entourage were briefed on the apartment complex. Kwame Yankes reports for Joy Business.
Now, the IMF board is expected to approve approximately $370 million in funding for Ghana following the completion of the country's fourth program review later today in Washington, D.C. George Rafi has more on the story.
The IMF board is set to meet today and review how the country has performed when it comes to meeting those targets set under the fund program for the second half of last year. Joy Business understands that the country has met all those critical targets. Therefore, the board will pass Ghana on the fourth review and approve the disbursement of some $370 million to the country. That should hit the Bank of Ghana's account before the close of this week. Ghana is also expected to get some $360 million from the World Bank. That should also come in before the close of this month. All these inflows may go a long way to improve the Bank of Ghana's international reserves, a move that should help in the city's stability against all the major trading currencies in the coming weeks.
All right, and that's it for this segment. The news returns after this break.
Well, two-time national semi-finalist in Francis Xavier Junior Seminary is headlining the start of the Upper West Regional 2025 National Science and Math Quiz qualifiers as they battle alongside regional heavyweights for a slot at the national championship. 12 schools are expected to compete in the qualifiers. Collins Frimpong is in the Upper West Regional capital, while following today's contest, and he joins me on the phone. Also, Adobia Sari is also in the central region. Let me start with you, Collins, this time around. What's the atmosphere there like?
Mame, if you come to the Upper West region, capital, that's why we currently have the first contest, which is ongoing between 2012 finalists. You know, we have St. Francis Xavier Junior Seminary, who in 2012 they made it to the final and they lost to GSTS, and also 2014 they were also in the semi-final of the national championship. And since then, their best in the last 10 years has been in the quarterfinal. Today, they are competing with the likes of last year Toulouse SHS, who also have been in the national championship before. In 2019, they made it to the quarterfinal. They are all hoping to qualify for the national championship in this particular contest. We are having 12 schools who are competing today, and we will have 4 different contests coming up, and each of the contests, we have 3 schools who are going to compete. In contest 2, we also have Queens of Peace SHS, who they have also qualified for the national championship before. 2023, they were in the national championship. And also have Canton SHS from Tumu, who also in 2023, they made it to the national championship. So all these 2 schools will be in the contest 2, who are hoping to secure a slot for the national championship in October. And contest 3, we are going to have Nandon and Laura, who also both have qualified for the national championship before. And when it comes to this particular region, they are considered as heavyweights in this particular region. And they are hoping to make it to the national championship before. And the last contest today will be in contest 4, where we will have our own Rafiq Salam from Wa Senior High School also be competing for a slot in the national championship today. Then tomorrow there will be no contest over here. The team will be looking forward to move to Bogatanga in the Upper East region.
All right, thank you so much, Collins. It looks like you guys are really enjoying your time there on the National Science and Math Quiz, trail. But then let me go to Adobia Sari, who is in the central region. Adobia, what can you report? Unfortunately, we do not have Adobia Sari on the line with us, but we'll definitely get in touch with her in subsequent bulletins. Well, Prempeh College has won the 2025 edition of the Love FM High Schools debate from over 100 schools at the zonal level to just 2 finalists. The 2025 finalist has come to its thrilling end with the Acheampong narrowly edging out defending champions Kumasi High School. Irabna Kwei reports.
If the future of our nation depends on the character of its people, then we must start with the ones stamping the fake documents, collecting the bribes, and yet showing up at church on Sunday to shout Holy Ghost fire, when the only fire we should be talking about is the one they have used to cook this township.
When it is campaigning time, these politicians sit on national TV and radio to tell us that, they are humble and they are ready to say, but the moment they win power, then suddenly they are building machines to peace war. Suddenly their children are studying in European countries and they come and sit in this hard economy with you and me, clean their mouths, and they keep quiet about where the money came from.
The electric atmosphere right here at the Christian Service University, where the finals of the Love FM High School debate just ended. Well, defending champions Kumasi High could not defend their title today, and I am here with them right now. They actually came in second place, and I think they've done incredibly well. Hi, how do you feel right now?
I'm okay.
You are just okay, nothing else?
No.
Okay, defending champions, what do you think went wrong today?
Oh, actually everything was on point, but you see, after all, the Lord decides. So we are grateful. Even how far the Lord has brought us, we are much grateful. And we pray that next year we are coming with much vim, with much enthusiasm like this year also.
So this automatically means you qualify into the competition next year. How should Ghanaians prepare for you guys?
Okay, please, we are telling Ghanaians to wait for us. We are going to give an exuberant performance next year because we are seeded school. We are coming because we have strong team. I mean, the Form 2, they are also there too. We are preparing them so that we give exuberant performance if God willing next year.
All right, they are preparing for next year. I have here with me a mouthful they just dethroned Kumasi High School. Well, it's actually interesting. I've seen them from the zonals right to the preliminary stages, to the round of 16, to the quarterfinals, semifinals, and they have won today. I mean, this is their second time, making them two-time champions.
Before I start, I would like to thank the Almighty God. As you said, you've been with us from zonals, prelims, round of 16, semi, quarter, and now finals, and now the champions. It's not a small journey, but I feel amazed, very excited, and glory be to God.
Well, after this contest, all we can say is that we are products of grace. We came this far by God. From zonals, prelims, round of 16, quarterfinals, semi-finals. We would be lying if we said that we came by our own might. We would be lying if we said that we are good on our own just because we can write rebuttals or we are good presenters. We are here because God brought us this far. And we want to tell the entire world that God is Prempeh College.
They want to tell the entire world that God is Prempeh College. Well, this is the end of the Love FM High School debate. Thank you so much for staying with us. My name is Rabna Akwe reporting for Joy News, and we will let the Amanfoɔ share some more.
And now to a story of promised fulfilled. Group Chairman of MNC, Michael Leslie Bartlett Vanderpoy, has redeemed his pledge of 10,000 cedis to each awardee of the Joy News Impact Makers Awards, and the gesture will support their community-changing projects. There's more in this report.
The group chairman of MNC, Michael Leslie Bartlett Vanderpoy, has honored his promise of 10,000 Ghana cedis cash to each awardee of this year's Joy News Impact Makers Awards. Presenting the money to the honorees at his East Legon office, Mr. Bartlett Vanderpoy commended the awardees for their exceptional contributions to their communities and urged other individuals and institutions to support such change makers. According to him, backing those who positively impact others is one of the surest ways to build a better Ghana.
I think it was a spontaneous decision because when I got there, over the past few weeks and months, I've tried to watch the story, the video, the short videos of each of the shortlisted impact makers, and I was very touched. But maybe a few thousands or hundreds given to these people, the lives it will impact is greater than just giving them the platform. Yes, it's laudable to give the platform, but I was explaining to my contact in multimedia that next time they should actually, after shortlisting these beautiful stories, these impact makers, they are the heroes, they should rather send the messages to corporate Ghana. For instance, come to MNC, tell us, okay, this is the beautiful story out of 10. Pick one and support. So on that day, we'll come with our support to give, but not just a plaque that is going to go back, but with some kind of financial support or something that will help with the progress of work. You remember there was the guy that touched me so much, the one that said he wished his team, his children would see a live feed of the award. Now the children are expecting something. They are excited, they've been nominated, put on the platform to the world. And he goes home and says, this is what I brought. So there I was like, no, we should give something. Like, even if you give 10,000 cedis to each of them, it goes back home. What 10,000 can do in Accra, it can do far more. So we didn't budget it. It is not in any of our budgets for the quarter. This is a personal gesture.
Well, Joy News thanks you, Mr. Vanderpoy. And that's all from us here on Joy News Desk. I'm beautifully clothed by Clothing Palace, located at Accra Central, opposite Elava. You can get your beautiful clothes there for both men and women. Do make a stop there. And that's it from us here. I am Amisi Nyamiche Thompson.